Microtransaction here, microtransaction there, microtransaction in the air. They're everywhere. Bungie, what are you doing? Oh, it's not that bad? Oh, this is kind of like a normal thing for games nowadays? Oh, alright then. Alright. I'm joking around a little bit. But seriously, on the online social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, there's kind of like this thing that's going on where people are wanting to boycott the Solstice event, mostly due to microtransactions. And this has been a long time coming. Astrocross's video, no disrespect to Astrocross, whatever I say about him in this video, he's the best of us. He's a man. Everybody wants to be him or be in his position at least. Anyhow, he dropped the microtransactions hell video. People became even more up in arms. But is this boycott really about the event in microtransactions? Not too sure about that, man. I'm not too sure at all. See, for a while now, Destiny players, I don't want to say it's been cool to kind of crap on the game, but it's been widely accepted for a long time now. And with Marathon coming out and how the state of the game is, which I don't think personally is that bad, but people don't really seem to be happy with it. Season of Deep isn't the best season, but definitely ain't the worst. People are kind of bubbling up. Social media groups are coming together. You're getting a lot of YouTubers with this death of Destiny thing and microtransactions. It just seems to be all boiling over. But this is just a public face. In reality, if you actually dive into a lot of like these social media posts and things like that, people are actually kind of defending Destiny, which just seems odd when you just look at things at face value. But right now, people aren't fed up with the microtransactions because comparatively to a lot of different games out there, it's not the worst thing ever. And I understand being kind of angry, not being able to access everything without having to open your wallet. But man, the way Destiny's built right now, with it being free to play, even though it's free to try mostly because expansions and such, things are gonna cost money, and that's just it. It's not a static game. If it was a static game and things cost money, I'm looking at you, Capcom. Yes, I would have more of a problem with this, but since it's an ever-evolving game, we're going to have microtransactions in it, and there's no game that's similar to Destiny that doesn't. I have an aching feeling that the people that are starting this quote-unquote boycott don't really care either. I mean, let's look at the event card. There's nothing on it, man. Seriously. And we all know these seasonal events, they kind of suck. Solstice is one of the better ones because you get the triple stat armor. I'm not sure if that's a thing this year, but in the years past it has been. But this is the most easily skippable thing ever. I never pay money for event things. It's not worth it. So, I'm gonna issue a little challenge. How about we don't boycott a seasonal event? Let's boycott a whole season. Let's boycott the rest of the seasons till Final Shape. Matter of fact, let's boycott Final Shape. I think that would probably be a little harder to do, right? Because we're invested, right? And really, it's not as bad as it makes out to be. And it's kind of irritates me because it's kind of like the cry wolf thing, right? When you cry wolf too many times and when something really bad happens, we're not going to have any power of it because we keep making these crazy things and it's not going to really work out. And when something that's really egregious happens, we're going to have that much less power because it's happened time and time again. Now look, there's things I definitely disagree with Bungie about. That silver thing that's going on, that is a crock, man. And the whole Steam DLC thing, it's a little blown out of proportion, but they really need to make it streamlined, especially if you want more players to become in there. It needs to just be like a legendary pack, new expansion, and that's it. There doesn't need to be a whole bunch of things that add up to like $400. That's kind of dumb. That's not fair to someone who wants to start playing and spends extra money than when they had to do. I totally disavow that. Another major issue I have with Destiny in general is just the lack of player customization, and actually it sounds kind of weird, but like lack of social spaces. That's a big thing with me too. Player customization, social spaces, and reskin of guns. We've seen that 120 cannon a zillion times. Stop reskinning it. It was good. Man, it's been good like 4 or 5 times, but we need some new designs, bro. Come on, let's be real. Another thing I'd like to bring up too, with kind of like the transgressions of Bungie and Destiny 2, is the season pass. Guys, trust me, our season pass isn't the worst season pass. Yeah, there's a skip, but maybe some people use it, but I couldn't imagine a vast majority of players actually using that. Seeing to get into 100, all you have to do is just play the game and you'll get there by the end of the season for the most part. And even if you do get like guns beforehand, I'm not too sure if it's pay to win, because like I said before in my other videos, I don't think that getting loot is actually winning in Destiny. I know Astrocross believes that. I know some other people do. I just find it hard to believe that me getting some loot from like a GM is equivalent to me running a mastered raid that just first came out. That feeling, I don't know, it's not the same to me. I don't feel like winning in Destiny is that. Unless you're a PvP player, then I guess winning is going flawless in trials. That's probably the best equivalent I can have for that. The last talking point in this video is the outside influences on the actual community itself, and the inside influences of the community itself, and how it's affecting us. And maybe we kind of got our guards up a little too high, because we've seen how other games have played out and how unplayable it does get because of microtransactions, and the company not really listening to the player base. But I'm gonna run that down real quick, talk about it. So the first thing I kind of want to bring up is people like me, YouTubers and streamers, and understanding that we're just people and we have like opinions, but to be a streamer and to be like a YouTuber that makes breaking content, this thing does take a toll on them mentally. And playing a game for like 9 years, it's tough, man, and you're gonna have negative emotions towards that. That's anything you do for 9 years. Even if you're in a marriage for 9 years, there's gonna be ups and downs. And sometimes those downs become louder than the ups, and that's kind of human nature. That's why it's kind of imperative to somewhat take a step back and focus on the positives that Destiny brings to us, and the positives that Bungie provides us with the game like Destiny 2. It's very important, because you can get lost in the sauce, man. Trust me, I do it all the time with a lot of things in my life. People do it all the time with a lot of things in their life, and it just happens. There's nothing really you can do to combat it except start focusing more on the positive. And I think we should start focusing on, let's get on this end thing, bro. I know some people are still kind of iffy on the season stories, but I'm sure it's gonna wrap up. I want the community to be so hyped for Final Shape. I'm super excited for it. I think this is something we should be focusing on, and not just like what feels like it's just nitpicking every single little thing that Destiny 2 has to offer right now. The internet in general is another thing I feel like is affecting the Destiny 2 community pretty toughly. Not just YouTubers or streamers, but gaming articles on websites, the socials such as Facebook, Twitter, Reddit. When you hear something negative, that sticks in your mind a little bit more. And the more you hear it, the more it reinforces in your mind. And not saying like we're brainwashed or anything like that, because sometimes these things are legitimate. But the more you see negative things, the more you tend to believe it, even if it's not true. So I try to keep a vigilant eye for that kind of things. Not going to discredit anything that's written or anything like that. I'm just saying too much of that stuff can start building up in your mind, and you start getting resentful, man. It happens. I do it too. These are all things I do, and how I'm affected just like everyone else is affected. The last little influence I kind of want to talk about that's kind of affecting the community, and I feel like we're in a bad space because of it. Not to put the blame on it, but is it influence? Is just gaming culture in general. I have yet to meet one community that doesn't really bash the game they play. This goes all the way up from COD down to a game that's been nominated and won multiple awards for their community, like Final Fantasy XIV. There's always things people are going to complain about, and sometimes you gotta take it with a grain of salt. I take it with a grain of salt. It has to be taken with a grain of salt. Made this video because I kind of want to put some weight on the other side of the scale, because right now it's leaning very negative. You feel me? Not everything Bungie does with Destiny 2 is perfect. Is Marathon taking all the money and stuff from Destiny 2? I don't think so. I think there's a lot of money being made in Destiny 2 still, and I think Sony, Bungie knows that. I don't really see a problem with Marathon coming out. They're just trying to expand like every other freaking gaming developer out there. And just like everyone that is starting this boycott or whatever, I think my end goal is the same as your end goal. I just want Destiny 2 to be the best game Destiny 2 can be. And for me, it just feels like, yeah, the microtransaction thing is a little bit scuffy, but it's not the worst. And I think there's other things we could actually like make change for if we have a united front. But like I said earlier in the video, if we just cry wolf about everything, then nothing's gonna happen, because it's just gonna be blatantly false threats, and no one gives them the false threats. Sorry. But hey man, I love you guys. This is just my opinion. If you have other opinions, put them down in the comments. You know what it is. Sleek Shadow here. Love y'all. Good night. Good morning. Good afternoon. Konnichiwa. Arrivederci.